And DJ is the type of kid, he doesn't want to let people down. He puts a lot more pressure on himself because of that. So I think in some of those situations, he's looking for the perfect look. He's looking for the perfect read. He's looking for the perfect throw, the perfect play. And that just doesn't exist in football. There's too much stuff going on offensively that he doesn't control, that coaches don't control, and there's too much stuff going on defensively that nobody controls on the field. So yeah, at times, especially Saturday night, there was a couple times where it's like you come to the sideline, it's like, what'd you see? And it's like, man, I should have done this. And it's like, yeah, well, go with what you see, go with what you feel, go with what you practice. But it wasn't a majority of the times that you had those conversations. But yeah, there was a couple times where you're like, hey, you might could spit that out, out the back door on the RPO, or maybe you should have kept that one. What'd you see to make? And I'll be honest with you, when a lot of times what we see is not what he sees on the field, and when you go back and watch the tape, it's like, man, I'm glad I didn't tell him to do that because he was right, and vice versa. There's a couple times where the defensive end's kind of in that gray area. Do I pull it? Do I keep it? Do I pull it? Do I throw it? And in those situations, you look back at the tape, in the game, you're like, man, this is wide open. But then you go back and you look at the tape, and you're like, I'm kind of glad he gave it right there. I'm kind of glad he pulled it. So what we had to do is just, like I said, go back to where, there's a confidence level there in, hey, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Make full-speed decisions. We'll roll with the punches. And that's where we got to get him back to. That's where we got to get our entire offense back to. Because, like I said, it's not a situation where we haven't seen the positives out of this offense this year. We just got to get back to playing more confident. I got confidence in DJ running our offense, and I got confidence in Cade running our offense. And DJ's a great football player, and Cade's going to be a great football player. It takes time, and we all know that, especially in this sport where development is key. But yeah, you'd like to see maybe Cade get in there and take a few more snaps and just kind of give you a change up. And then the flip side of it is sometimes when you're the starting tight end, or sometimes when you're the starting wide receiver, sometimes it's, hey, come over here and watch it for a second or two and see it the way we're seeing it. Sure. And when you got a guy like Cade, you can do that with DJ. But both those guys have strengths, they have weaknesses, and it's our job to make sure that we're putting the best person out there to give us a chance to be successful on that drive, be successful, offensively, and then find a way to play complementary football, offense, defense, and special teams, and just not screw it up. I know everybody's upset, but we're 8-1. I mean, we're not 5-3, we're not 4-4. All right, let me take my Clemson coaching hat off and put my Clemson fan hat on. How many of y'all been here Don's been here for a long time. And guess what? I've sat here and watched this press conference when it was 3-8. I've watched this press conference when it's 6-5. I've watched this press conference when the Tangerine Bowl, we're dying to go play in the Tangerine Bowl. No offense to the Tangerine Bowl. No offense to the Humanitarian Bowl, but we get a berth to the Humanitarian Bowl, and we're like, man, this is awesome, So, we got to keep things into perspective, too. I'm upset with losing. I hate to lose. I don't care what I got on my chest. I hate to lose. But at the same time, we're 8-1. We went to a Notre Dame team that, guess what? They got football coaches, too. And guess what? They got a lot of pride, too. And we played in a tough situation, tough stadium, and we got beat. But we're going to go back to work. Because if we had got back on the plane in South Bend, and let's say we scored 50 points, and everybody's happy-go-lucky over the offense, and wow, we're back, we're still going to walk in the building the same way we walked in the building yesterday and go, what do we got to go fix? Because that's what we do. So, good, bad, or ugly, we always walk in here ready to fix things on Sunday, and then we turn around and we go to practice on Monday, and we start a brand new week because the biggest game of the year is this week. It's like that every week. So, I'm not going to get on the negative train. I'm not going to get caught up in the narrative, and our players aren't either. And that's our job as coaches too, to make sure our players understand the big picture And, you know, I've been here for 7 years, and I've walked in this building on a Sunday after a devastating loss to Pittsburgh, and the season's over, just to turn around and go win a national championship about a month and a half later. I've walked in this building with a devastating loss to Syracuse, and it's over, just to go to the playoff 2 months later. So, you know, nowhere in our building does it say we have to have the #1 rated offense in the country. That's not a goal. Nowhere in the building does it say we have to go undefeated. It's not a goal. And when I walked back in the building on Sunday, all our goals were still right in front of us. Everything is still right in front of us. And that's my mindset. And when I walk out of that tight end room today, that's going to be the mindset of the tight ends. And they already know it's mindset because they heard that from me first thing Sunday morning when I woke up. We're just going back to work. And that's what we got to do offensively. We're in a rut. Ain't nobody sitting here trying to, you know, disagree with that. We've got to play better. We've got to coach better. We've got to put kids in better situations and account for everything that comes with that. But all we can do is go back to work and make sure that they're confident in what we're doing, and I know they are.